You are listening to an Audio Box original story. Please like and subscribe, and I will create more stories for your listening pleasure.
The Bathhouse. Purification, Chapter 1. The bathwater turned red before Glia closed her eyes. Steam filled the small wooden room, muffling the sound of her breathing. Outside, the world still moved, missions, orders, secrets. But here, everything felt suspended. Ming always said her bathhouse didn't just heal the body, it awakened what the soul tried to bury. Glia let the water rise slowly over the wound at the back of her neck. Heat seeped into the cut, sharp enough to steal her breath, and the past began to open. She slipped out of her blood-stained clothes and sank deeper into the wooden soaking tub Ming had prepared for her. The warmth rose past her collarbone as the water clouded red around her. She gasped as the heat reached the gash. Exhaustion flooded her limbs, leaving her body slack and heavy. Darkness pressed in at the edges of her mind as she drifted in and out of consciousness. Memories seeped in with the steam. Rough hands grabbing her, the flash of the dagger, the maddening eyes that seemed to draw blood with their stare alone. 15 minutes later, she inhaled sharply and regained full awareness. She looked down. Blood floated everywhere. The bath was no longer clean enough to stay in. Glia stepped out and quickly rinsed herself with the shower head. Why? She thought. Why would Rayon suddenly lose his mind like that? Why would he attack me? On a mission, no less? She wrapped herself in a dark towel and tied a smaller one around her neck to cover the wound. That wasn't something the boss warned me about when he put me in charge of him. What the hell was that? Gathering her clothes, she replayed the mission in her mind. Come to think of it, the others were already prepared for him to behave that way. She remembered the support team loading tranquilizers before dispatch. We were supposed to eliminate the targets. Why bring tranquilizers unless they knew Rayon was a hazard? Rayon had been tranquilized mid-attack. The only reason she survived. They had never used them before. Even the presence of a support team had seemed strange. Glia sat down, overwhelmed by the realization that she had been placed in charge of a man without being warned about his violent tendencies. But what made him so savage? He seemed so passive. I couldn't believe he was a seed hitman. What he became. I've never seen that behavior, not from any seed. Glia stood and slipped on the bamboo sandals left beside the tub. She put on the black kimono Ming had prepared. Her dark brown hair fell past her shoulders as she untied the towel and tossed it into a hamper near the door. That's when she heard Ming approaching. "Looks like you're all cleaned up," Ming said softly, offering a small bow. Ming stood barely 5 feet tall, her gray hair tied into a neat bun. No one could ever guess her age. It remained a mystery, like most things about her. Though her clients were few, she provided a kind of healing some would swear was magic. "Look," Ming added, "your wound is already healing. Soon it will barely be visible. Your strength is returning." She gathered Glia's stained clothes and began rinsing the tub. "Thank you," Glia said, keeping it brief. She knew better than to ask questions about the healing process. When drifting earlier, she could have sworn she heard chants and music, but there was something about the bath itself she couldn't understand. She shook her head. Maybe it was hallucination. Still, the bathhouse had saved her again. She had literally stumbled upon it once before, and in her line of work, death was always waiting around the corner. But this time, something felt wrong. She needed answers. "You should rest," Ming said, walking toward her. "I will prepare a room." "Oh, I couldn't," Glia replied politely. Ming ignored the refusal, taking her hand and leading her through the bathhouse halls, past the bedrooms, and toward the lobby. "You should," she insisted. "Rest is good for you. You will be healed by tomorrow. It is dark. Sleep." She sat Glia down. "Wait here while I prepare your room." Before Glia could protest again, Ming disappeared down the hall. Glia sighed. She was tired, mentally more than physically. Her thoughts churned, trying to piece together what had happened. Through the window, she saw the moon whining faintly behind the trees. It was peaceful here. She decided she would finally accept Ming's offer to stay the night. The lobby was filled with the soothing scent of incense. Glia leaned back as exhaustion weighed on her. Memories replayed until her eyes flickered shut. Soon, her consciousness slipped away, not into sleep but somewhere else entirely. She heard voices, men and women arguing. Her eyes opened. She was in the basement office of Factory 9. Agents sat in chairs around her. She was seated among them. "But how do you know that?" a woman demanded. "It's simple logic," a man argued. "Taboo or not, our competitors are doing it. The boys' conditioning has already begun." Another shouted, "We've already committed the taboo." "Carver is correct," a calm woman said. "Our competitors would destroy us if we can't match their tactics." "We're forcing their hands," another added. "Anyone the boy is sent to kill will die. No witnesses." "The boss hasn't stopped us," someone said. "And the conditioning is working. Come see." Glia followed as they moved through pillar-lined corridors beneath the factory. A door opened into a viewing booth. Inside stood a boy, no older than 12. His arms were cuffed behind him to a steel pole. A man faced him holding a crop whip. The child was already bleeding, bruised, trembling violently. "Will you be killed?" the man asked. "No, please don't kill me." "Then you will survive." The whip struck. Blood sprayed. The boy screamed, thrashing, begging for help that would never come. "You see?" the lead agent said. "He will become a weapon of pure survival instinct." Glia stared in horror. The beating continued, but now she heard only chimes, a rain stick, a tuning fork. She blinked and found herself in a rainy alley. Rayon stood behind her. "Rayon." He clutched his ears, shaking. "I hate it. The rain." Glia stepped closer. He drew his knife. "I won't be killed," he shouted. "I won't be hurt." "Rayon, stop." He charged. Glia gasped awake, bolting upright on a futon. Rain fell outside. The sound of rain was soothing now. Trees rustled around the bathhouse. Moonlight dimly lit the meadow. The scent of incense calmed her as she thought about the dream. The boy. She remembered him. She would never forget how they turned him into an assassin, until his mysterious death. Ever since visiting the bathhouse, she had begun to have vivid dreams, not dreams, but glimpses of time itself. She lay on her side, hair spilling across the pillow. Carver. She remembered him too. Dusty brown hair covering one eye, the limp that unsettled her. He had been part of an experimental program, genetic enhancement maybe. At the time, she dismissed the dreams as imagination, but now they felt real. Could this be connected to Rayon? Her intuition stirred. These dreams are guiding me. She knew what she had to do. Factory 9. Glia rested her head on the silk pillow and forced herself to sleep. Morning came quietly. She awoke rested, though disappointed the mystery hadn't deepened overnight. Beside her, her clothes were neatly folded, spotless, like new. Everything about this place was a mystery. She dressed, and just as she buttoned her blouse, Ming knocked. "Your breakfast," she called. Glia paused before opening the door, listening to the rain still falling beyond the walls of the bathhouse. For the first time since the attack, she understood one thing with chilling certainty. The mission wasn't over. It had only just begun.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe so I can bring you more original stories, and please feel free to comment and share your thoughts. It will be much appreciated. Please come back and visit because more chapters are on the way.